My brother really likes to think of interesting things for us, his younger siblings, to do. Whether it be teaching us calculus or having us try and buy $1 from him, he always has a plan up his sleeve. And one of these plans was a financial plan. It goes as follows. Have $100 by the time you're 1. Have $1,000 by the time you're 10. 10,000 by the time you're 20. 100,000 by the time you're 30. $1 million by the time you're 40. 10 million by the time you're 50, etc. And I decided that this was a brilliant idea. So at about age 8, I started working hard to get to that $1,000 by age 10. I started working for my grandpa nearly every week. I mowed his lawn, hauled wood, pulled up carpet, and did anything he wanted me to do. I also started watching animals for my neighbors. Whether it was turkeys, chickens, dogs, or the occasional frog, I didn't care, as long as I was willing to earn money from it. And at about age 9.5, I hit my goal. Now, there's a lot of things we can pull from this experience, but the thing that I will be sharing today is the secrets of success that I learned. The first thing that I learned is that we need to have goals. A Harvard business study found that people who have goals are on average 10 times more likely to succeed than those who don't. However, only 8% of goals get accomplished. So how can we ensure that our goals are among the 8%? George Doran of Management Review introduced the acronym SMART to help us out. The S stands for specific. Don't let your goal be so broad that you hardly understand what it's about. Make sure it is specific. The M stands for measurable. We need to be able to compare our progress to our desired outcome to see how far away we are. The A stands for achievable. While we should set goals that are outside of our comfort zone, they can't be impossible. The R stands for relevant. Make sure you actually care about the goal before you set it. And the T stands for time bound. We need a deadline on our goal to be able to accomplish it. When we compare my goal, earn $1,000 by age 10, to the SMART acronym, we see that they align nearly perfectly. It was specific, earn $1,000. It was measurable. I could compare my net worth to the $1,000 goal to see how far I was. It was achievable. I knew that if I was willing to work hard enough, I could succeed. It was relevant. I actually cared about completing the goal. I wanted to follow this financial plan, and it was time bound. I had to do it by the age of 10. Because it was one of the reasons I was able to succeed was because it was a SMART goal. The second thing I learned is that we need to have self-confidence. When successful people go into a situation, they don't think of all the things that could go wrong. Instead, they focus on their strengths and build off of them. Brian Tracy said, quote, "It is not a lack of ability or opportunity that is holding you back. It is merely a lack of self-confidence." Studies have proven this. A study by the University of Nepali Parthenope found that individuals who have high self-confidence earn on average $28,000 a year more than their peers who have low self-confidence. Over a 40-year career, that can add up to nearly $1.2 million. We might be asking, how can we gain self-confidence? ReachOut.com gave a list of things that we can all do to help grow our self-confidence. The first is write a list of some of the things that you're most proud of. Whether it's getting a 36 on the ACT or finally hitting that half-court shot in basketball, we all have things that we're proud of. But sometimes, when our self-confidence is low, we start to forget that. Having a list of things we can fall back on is a great tool to help grow our self-confidence when it is low. The second thing we can do is to think of things we're good at. Whether it's playing chess or mountain biking, we all have things we're good at. And sometimes we just need to recognize that. Every week, my family holds a family night where one of the things we do is somebody shares a talent they have. It could be reading, it could be horseback riding, it could be singing. As long as it's something that they have a talent in. And as we share these with our fellow family members, our self-confidence grows. The third thing we can do is to get a hobby. Confidence comes from experience. So finding something that you're truly passionate about to work on and develop can help grow your self-confidence. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be a sport, it could be knitting. As long as it's something that you're truly passionate about, your self-confidence will grow as you develop the hobby. Now that we know how to grow our self-confidence, we can move on to some of the other secrets of success I learned. The third thing I learned is that we need to think outside of the box. Lots of 8-year-olds in my situation might have thought, there's no way I can achieve this goal. I can't even work at McDonald's. Where will I be able to find jobs to earn money? And if I had thought inside of the box, I probably wouldn't have been able to achieve my goal, because there's not a lot of jobs for 8-year-olds. So I had to think outside of the box to achieve my goal. But Sean O'Dywell said, quote, "Thinking outside of the box allows you to get rewards outside of your reach." Brandon Sato is a great example of this. In 1970, he was carrying 2 heavy suitcases through the airport in Aruba when he came up with a brilliant idea. What if you could attach wheels to suitcases? When he got home, he did exactly that, and much to his delight, it worked. Now think about this for a moment. We had managed to put a man on the moon before we had put wheels on suitcases. Brendan had to think up outside of the box to come up with this revolutionary idea. And now it blesses all of our lives every time we travel. Brandon truly did think outside of the box to get rewards outside of his reach. The 4th thing we can do to be successful is to be optimistic. Brian Tracy said, quote, "Optimism is the one quality more associated with success and happiness than any other." End quote. A study by the University of Pennsylvania by Martin Seligman found that salespersons who are optimistic outsell their pessimistic peers by nearly 56%. We can unlock this huge benefit by just being optimistic. And the final thing we can do to ensure our success is to work hard. Alexander Graham Bell said, quote, "The only difference between success and failure is the ability to take action." End quote. No matter how much natural talent you have, you won't be able to succeed if you aren't willing to work hard. This is by far the most important quality of them all. Last summer, I learned this. Last summer, I was part of a Patriot camp where we learned about the Constitution and the Founding Fathers. And at the end of the camp, we all had to memorize something to share. It could be a poem, be a quote, it could be a speech. Anything from that time period, really. And I decided to memorize the Patrick Henry "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death" speech. Now, if you aren't familiar with this speech, it's a 7 to 10 minute speech, which is not written in the most modern English. I was pretty sure I was going to be able to memorize it, but I knew I needed a lot of time. So 2 months before the camp started, I started memorizing. 2 weeks in, I still had barely memorized the first paragraph, and I was starting to have serious doubts about the chances of me actually memorizing it in time. I thought about quitting, but decided I would keep going a little while and see if maybe things would start to click. And slowly, word by word, sentence by sentence, they did. And by the end of camp, I had it memorized. If I had given up when I was only 2 weeks in, I would not have been able to succeed. But because I was willing to work hard, I was able to succeed. World famous soccer player Pele said, quote, "Success is no accident. It is hard work, learning, perseverance, and above all, a love of what you are doing or learning to do." End quote. These secrets of success have helped me earn $1,000 before age 10. They have helped me memorize the Patrick Henry speech, and they've helped me do a lot of other things. But the focus of this oratory is on what I have done. It is on what you will be able to do with these tips. Thank you.